Hello, welcome to this tutorial of Xiumi. In this tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to create a page for Wechat, which can be like a H5 page or a product page. Basically, what we're trying to do is, for example, this is like a weekly newsletter, and as you can see, it's got like lots of different elements. Here, for example, it's got some interaction, like moving things around. And then there's these kind of carousels that they move automatically. These are animations. It's quite templated, but I mean, for the purpose of this, I think it will be enough to have a good start with how to use Xiumi. Maybe a bit long. Yeah. Okay. This is actually not the final edit of this page, but for the purpose of the tutorial, it should be fine. Okay, so the first thing is to, just in case anybody have a problem using the interface, I wanted to let you know that there is not only Xiumi that you can use to produce these H5 pages or pages for Wechat or other platforms. This is a list of the ones that you can use. So these are the H5 creation tools. Basically, we're using Xiumi, and this is the page xiumi.us, which, if I haven't mentioned, this is what you need to get to use the interface. Then you got Maca, Xcube, RabbitPre, and H5 .cn, which you probably need to use VPN in order to connect with this last one. Just to say that all of them are subscription based, so you need to pay a subscription to be able to do the full service. However, you can use the interface into kind of some decent limited edition. Most of the time, what is with the pay subscription, what you get is like free templates or things like that. Okay, so let's go to the interface. Actually, just a brief note about the kind of pages that you can find within Wechat, which are subscription account pages, like Wechat subscription accounts, Wechat service account, mini programs, and enterprise account. I mean, for example, this product, it can be used on the service account, what we're going to do now. And just to let you know, you can only publish 4 times per month this type of pages, this type of product. Okay. Right, as I was saying earlier, there is a paid subscription. So in this one, it says here like VIP. So this is the paid subscription. I'm using somebody else login from work, and the reason I'm using somebody else login is because in order to do the full kind of service, like for example, including some video and images, video and music, you need to actually have an account in some third-party kind of websites, right? And these third-party websites, some of them, they require you to have a Chinese ID. So not just Chinese phone number or something else. You need to have a Chinese ID to open these accounts, and without these accounts, you cannot actually, for example, place video or music files. So you have this in mind beforehand. But you might have a friend who can help you on this one. Anyway, so okay, the first thing here, and this is where everything kind of lights in, is this my Xiumi, right here top on left. And then this is where, for example, we have all the different kind of things that we create. So just very quickly here, just to tell you what these menus are. This is for members. If there's more than one person, this is like training, so to learn different things. This is to do with the mobile, if you want to learn on mobile. And this is for a business team. Okay, so from here we can choose whether to do artwork, like a standard artwork, or a H5 page. The interfaces are very similar. Just to show you very quickly, for example, if we go into H5, we click here, the main difference that you're going to find on the actual interface is around here. You can see this symbol here top left, which is like these triangles and stuff. But then if we go to back, and then we create a new kind of standard artwork, Then on the interface, so you know where you are, you have here this kind of like article artwork. So yeah, let's create one of these articles because that's the example I was showing you earlier, and it's kind of similar kind of way of working. For example, if we give it a name, for example, let's say newsletter, and then we put name, for example, author, let's say put cat, and then let's start creating. For example, I'm gonna show you first the actual interface here, right? So the first thing to do probably is to know how to insert pictures. So this is the picture area on here. So I will click here. I already have here some images, as you can see, but in order to bring one of your pictures, you just need to go into this tab. So you will click here, and then it will bring you like some kind of like just a standard, whatever, you locate the image, and it will just come here. One thing to know is that the files, they need to be smaller than 10 megabytes per image, right? So if it's higher than that, it will give you here on the right, it will come up with a message on red. Oh, look, let's just create this because I click very quickly. So I'm just gonna select and hit delete, and it will delete it. Right, so in order to create the things that you saw earlier, I'm gonna start from the top. I already know the design of it, so first thing, I include the first element here, right? So it's as simple as that. As I clicking here, even just one, you don't even need to double click, and it will insert image one after the other. The kind of trick with these kind of pages is that there is kind of small elements, and they need to look like they are together. So it's more kind of your creativity on how you apply this kind of principle in order to make it look like a full page, right? Because I already have a template here on how I like this to look. The second element is a carousel of images, but for now I'm just gonna insert one of them, one of these images of the carousel, and then later we go back to how to do this carousel. So the next element I got here is this kind of this quote, and then I have like a page with an animation, which is actually this one. But just to show you, if you see this here, which it shouldn't be here, but the way I put this together is I create this in Photoshop, and then the video I put it behind in Premiere. And then when I export it from Premiere, because of the size of it, because if you do more than 3 seconds, it's gonna be like it's not gonna have enough space, so you need to kind of play around and which type of format, and then convert it in Photoshop into a GIF, animated GIF, and then maybe change the proportions of the scale so to have a file less than 10 megabytes. So we have here this already, and then we have the next element, which is this one. So basically what I already constructed in any other software, which could be Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, whatever software you want, then you just bring the elements, right? So for example, in this case that you're gonna see here, all my text is actually being created within another platform, right? That doesn't mean that you cannot create it here, but it's just for the purpose of having a full control of typography, because otherwise the program is quite challenging in terms of bringing like external typeface. But very important is, like, if you do the whole construction just with images, when you go to publish, Xiumi or Wechat, they have a limitation of articles that they don't have any text, editable text, right? So you need to have an amount of text. I'm not sure whether it's 500 words or something like that, but just bear in mind that if you don't have real text, only images, like what I'm doing here right now, you won't be able to publish the article, and that's the reason why. So after here I have another image, right? And then I have this other one, which is called an anime. It's supposed to have an animation, but it doesn't have it. Oh, no, sorry, that doesn't. I deleted. This is the one which is called the animation. Here you can see already, like, the previews that they have these animations. And then insert this other element, and then this one, and then this, which is going to be a carousel after. So pretty much, I mean, I already know the structure of this. So then this one, and then there's this. So because it's already done the job. Like it's pretty much just putting it together. And then here is one, and then this one, and then I have an element here with another. So in a way, it's like there is no point of learning how to kind of visually edit something when you already know how to do it on another software. So just get into the interactivity of the actual software. I'm just gonna quickly finish this off. But before we go into the interactivity, just in case you don't need interactivity and you want to know how this works, it's just on the very kind of quick note, you will click, let's click here to, this is like save. This is the equivalent to save. I click here, takes a little while, and then once it's saved, right, it's like here, okay, then you can go into what is called like preview, right? So you click here preview, and it will give you a quick preview on how this is this looking, right? As I haven't got any interaction yet, there's not much interaction. This kind of gives you like, you know, you can see things like you can address later. For example, here there's a space, and we're gonna solve this after. Anyway. So important in here, if you want to see how it looks on the mobile, it's as simple as scanning this on your mobile, on your WeChat. And once you scan it, you can also, after scan, you can go into the app and just share. You can share with another person, or you could do a screen grab of the image. But I mean, that's probably not a very good idea. One thing to know is that this when you scan it and you check on your mobile, you can only view it for a short period of time. I'm not sure if it's like an hour or even less. So this is timeout. So the problem with this is, like, for example, you could actually even share this on WeChat, in WhatsApp, or even on a kind of like a normal website. But the people who receive it, they will have the same problem, that it will time out after X amount of time. Right, so I just click outside, and then we go back to the interface here. By the way, here you can just choose any image. If we double click here, so you click here and then you go into an image, for example this one, and it will go on there. And then if you double click again, you can select which portion of the image is gonna show when you share it, because when you share, sometimes the post it gives when you share, for example in WeChat, it will give some text and then a small icon. So this will be what it will be on that icon. Okay, I just click okay, and this is there. But we keep going on now with some elements here. For example, in terms of let's say we have here, like we want to have like a carousel that is moving automatically, right? To create this element, I had put this just for positioning now, but the best way to do, I mean, as you see here, this is like a cheater. I create this in Photoshop, so it looks like it's one of these ones, but it's not that. So right, so you need to kind of look the element within the interface, right? So that's what we're gonna do now. Okay, so we're gonna see how to insert a slider, an automatic slider here, right, as we saw in the original sample. So we have with 3 images which I got here, and they're supposed to kind of slide automatically. So the first thing, we go into this icon top left, and then here we click SVG, right, and then we click SVG to gene, which is number 3, and it comes with different options, right? This kind of SVG to gene, which is like a collection of images, we select this one. This is the simpler one, and then to avoid that the image goes at the bottom, I'm just gonna drag it in. If you click an image, it will always go at the bottom of the actual page. So here it's got 2 parts. One of them which we don't need is this one. I'm just gonna delete it. I just click delete, select and delete, And then if we go into the kind of into this icon, which gives all the details of the animation, and we select this, this is the actual SVG. So it has come out with this palette, and then on the actual palette itself, if we click here, we can see the kind of details of it. It's already got 3 images. I'm sliding with my trackpad, and it's got 4 images here already. We can just delete the ones that we don't need. For example, let's say we leave this one, right? And then what we want to do now is to insert the ones that we already planned. So we go to the picture pool here, and then I'm just gonna click just one, for example, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and now I'm just gonna delete this other one. So now what is left to do is just to select how long you want each of these slides to be on display. For example, now it's 0.5 seconds, which is a bit too quick, so I'm just gonna put, for example, 1, right? And then just to kind of I just click outside now, I'm gonna delete this other one, and then we save here, and then we just see how this is looking. Okay, you can also check on your mobile, just scanning this as we've done before. So this is how it's looking. Okay, probably it's too fast, or I mean, it's fully customizable. So again, if we go here and then click here, and everything appear, and then these are like different kind of effects in terms of you can choose whether the slides go from top to left, left to right, up and down. At the moment is going to is towards the right. Okay, right, so this is one type of animation on here done, and then we want here, because this actually is a multilingual edition, we want this to be in English, in Chinese, and in English. So basically, to do this, we incorporate a slider, like a left to right slider. So if I go back here, this slider you can use for something else maybe. Then we put a slide which is hua. I will put this on the description. Hua slider. Click there, and it's gonna give you lots of items that they slide they slide. They're already kind of pre-designed, but this is the one we want to do is with our own images. So if I go right to the bottom of this huge list of options, right, if I can, here we go. Then at the end of this list it has two kind of, let's call it, scripts. They're not, which are the ones that we need, are these ones which are only text. This is top to bottom, Sanxia, and this is left to right. So we're just gonna click this one. I'm just gonna drag and put it there, right? So similarly to what we did before, if we click on here, I just click here and it gives you this palette, and in the actual palette, if you click on it, it gives you the elements that you want to include here. Let's say, for example, we want to include, because I already have this as an image. So if we go to the picture pool, so for example, this one is called cat artist, so this one is in Chinese. For example, I press this one and it will come out there, and then somewhere else here I have the same thing in English, so cat and artist, which is this one. Now I can delete this other one. So yeah, this is about the size and position of things but this is fine. And again, this is also about the way it moves, so it's fine. So I click outside, and just for the purpose of this, I save quickly here. I save, and then we see that it's kind of moving correctly, sliding. I mean, if you check this on the mobile, it will be like a slider. I have a duplication here because I didn't delete the other one. The interesting thing about this is, like, for example, I'm gonna delete that, right? I hit delete. The interesting thing about this is that, for example, if I want to use the same thing somewhere else, I can just click here, and I go here, and what it says cut, which is, they don't have an option or something for copy, but they have cut. So I click cut, and it's going into our pasteboard here, so on the left. So you can use this somewhere else. So for example, now I press Apple or Control Z, so it brings that back because it actually cut it from there. But then if later on I want to use the same style of animation, I can, let's say for example here, I can just go into the pasteboard and I just drag it there, right? And what we save is a bit of time, because then we already have which sort of animation we want, and it's especially helpful if you have lots of kind of customized details about times or style of animation. So this other one, for example, it uses a similar style of animation that the one that we have here, even if it's a different size. So for example, what I'm gonna do here again, I just click cut, sorry, I press the Control or Apple Z to undo, and then now for example I can just drag this here and then use the images from the pool that I wanted to use here, which are these kind of these images of there are details of that particular story, these images here. So basically I go here, I click outside, not on the actual image, and I click on the frame. That's why it's quite helpful sometimes, this little icon, because it gives you details about, you can see better the frame. So once this appear, then we click on this one, and then you have here what is on the carousel right now, but I want to include different ones. So I click that one, I click that one, and that one, and this one, and this one, up to 5 I put here. So, and then I'm gonna delete the original ones. So it's a faster way of, doing that part, right? So now I'm gonna delete the actual image here. Okay. Again, here this is the part that I had duplicated earlier, but because it's a different content, what I'm gonna do is to I click here, sorry, and then on the content I go for the real content of this one, which is this cuts and everything. No, it's this one, this hammer. So I could actually select that and it will replace. I select this one, you click one, and then I got the image here somewhere else, which is this yeah, it's this one. So bam, so it's done. So that's that part. And again here, because this is a bit long and I don't want to do the same thing over and over, because it's a template quite similar. So this is already, this is a carousel, this is a slider. On here you're supposed to have, well, this is supposed to be another kind of carousel. And then here, sorry, this is for example, to replace, I just click this one and then I go into images, and actually I have already this animation here, so it just has replaced the whole thing. Sometimes I like to, for example, to have a frame of how this whole thing is gonna work, and then I just replace the images, I update the images somehow. Okay, one important part thing here, if you see, there is like there is some gap that is only visible here, or actually when you go into the actual this is more preview like, still you can see there is a gap, but if we go into the actual real preview of this, there's gonna be some sort of spacing in between. right? So the way you here, like this white thing that I didn't want it originally. So the way to tackle this is like, and this is for spacing in general, by default Xiumi gives you like a space of sometimes of 10 pixels. So you click here, when you select here, it will come up this panel, and then you select here, and this is a space before and after. So before, space before and space after. So if I have selected this, the space before this one is 10, so I'm gonna put it to 0, right? So it will go higher. However, you have to think that maybe this other element is got, as I selected now, is got a space before of 10, so I need to put it to 0, so a space, let's say, below, right? Okay, now there's no space in between. And also interesting thing is that on here you can play with negative values, so you could put, for example, -5 or whatever. And an interesting way of working with this, I'm just gonna do it here, like for the purpose of this sample, right? I got here like a small animation, which I'm gonna drag into here, right? Here we go. If you see, this animation is a transparent GIF, and then, for example, let's say I want to have this transparent GIF over here, right? And then you think it's part, because sometimes, because it's a large image, it doesn't allow you to have too much animation or whatever, so you could actually combine two GIFs, and this is something that many people don't actually know. So if you go to here, you can put, you select this, and then you put, for example, -50, right? Well, let's put -200, and then you click there, and actually look, it's going on there, and then it looks like it's part of the same thing, but it's actually an element on top. And then you could actually just go into the actual preview and see how this is looking, right? Here we go. Yeah, you have the image there. Just one thing to have in mind is that when people view the images in Wechat, when they see the whole thing together, but if they click on an image or double click or press hard, they will see what's going on behind. So they're gonna see the different elements one by one. So on here they will see one image, they will see this GIF one image, and they will see the other as a different image. So I click here below, and then again here we will have to remove the space below, and let's put 0, and then here I select and I put space above 0. Cool. I don't think I had included more kind of new elements on here, because pretty much all of this is just playing with the things that I've done before, like, because, for example, this animation is a combination of After Effects and Photoshop. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, the interface is got lots and lots of different elements that you can they are already predefined, so you can actually just add so many things that it's just, they already have animation, they have, you know, all sort of many elements. So it's better to, you know, like, I hadn't gone through that because it's just like a full library of things that you can just inspect and have fun with it. But on a more kind of professional background, most of the time you just want to create your own elements and just put in somehow and bring it into the application. And maybe you already know how to, as I said before, you know how to use some software, and you don't need to kind of, you know, like learn how to do the same thing in a different software. So this is kind of briefly how you will go into this. Once this is kind of like created, you can have here more details, and then this is let's say saved, and then you can just, this is the part where you can actually, this will kind of make the edit go live. In this case, for example, because I don't actually have the account on my name, I cannot complete that part of the process. But just to let you know that, for example, when you kind of open this onto Wechat, you can share that link, and then it creates somehow, even though it's not, this particular one is not H5 page, is a kind of article page. It creates an HTML5 that it can be viewed in any kind of browser. Which other things that I want to let you know in the purpose of this video, which is this is like a very brief introduction. Yeah, like for example, if you have a collection of if you save this, and then for example, you can actually, you have created elements that you have here on the pageboard. You can actually, let's say this is already saved, right? You can go into my Xiumi on this one with the Xiumi, which is got all the things that you had created before. For example, I just click here and it's going to, yeah, these are things that I've done before, right? So you can open other elements and you can copy into the pageboard things and bring them from one to the other. So every time you create something, it goes into this library somehow that you can share with other people or whatever. So yeah. So this is the actual one that we were working on. I double click on it, and we're gonna go back to the actual thing. Yeah, when you do the preview here, for example, you're going to preview. Okay, everybody, not everybody have the mobile set to daylight, so some people watch it like in the kind of night mode. So in our case, there's not many difference because all the images pretty much they have a white background. But if you use some of the application default elements, you come across that they are not going to look the same way. So thanks God, it's got this part which is like to view this on dark mode. So you click on here and you see how this is gonna look on dark mode, because sometimes some elements could just become not visible. So as I said, because on this sample everything is in white, but for example some things become more apparent, like for example the gaps in between blocks, they have a black line here, but because it's the actual background. But if you don't want that line to be there, so you need to kind of again address this with the space before and after. Okay, another thing quite interesting, even though we hadn't used it here, let's say for instance that you are working, let's say we're working in this particular brand, and then we want to find elements, or we want the elements that we use to have a kind of some sort of color coordination with this, for example with this, let's say this purple color. So for example, they're offering you this type of elements, or you go here, it gives you these other ones, or kind of all sorts of things. So if we want them to look the same that our template, or our product, you go here and then you can select which color. For example, let's say this one, and then the elements that are variable, like these ones, have changed. If you can see, let's say for example we put orange, they will move into an orange palette. So basically this is quite helpful to kind of keep a consistent branding, because pretty much many of the elements are linked to that color. So if you are not going to use any of this, it's better to keep it transparent, and then just do whatever you think it works for you. Or if you have a color, you can also kind of click here to remove color and go into transparent. You can, so the default color. Okay, let's say you want to include some music or video. So all these kind of like pretty elements, they are under group until this tab here, which is like kind of like clicking tab, and then you have different elements. The first interesting ones, I mean, this is, for example, this is to kind of include like some kind of a split line or separator, stickers, some sort of notes and things. But the interesting one is like this one, which is kind of, it's called official account, official account component, right? This is where music this is where you select music. So there's nothing here that I say music in Chinese. This is official account component. So as you can see, it's quite hidden. And again, the same thing here is video. So this video, this one is for the QR codes are way more, and these are kind of other type of part. This is like a form if you want to include a form on the thing. So just to kind of clarify, so this is for music, this is for video, and this is for QR code. If you go, for example, and click on the music one, like click here, it comes up with this kind of with these elements, right? But these elements at the moment is saying, okay, sorry, it's called official account components. So for example, the one for music, it could be, you could use this format. What's going on here? You could use this format, or you could use different ones. So once you will have to actually, let's say for example you put this one, then you will have to edit the elements here, but you need to actually include like a link. But this link is actually, you need to, I just have clicked here, right? You need to actually have a kind of account to use this. So you cannot just upload your music and put it there, as we all hope to do. That is because there's so much kind of control with this, and it's part of the company or whatever. For now, this is not possible. So this is how we will put the music. And then for video, we're just going to this tab of components, and then we go into video, and it will be similar. So we click on here, and then we go here, and then we will select here the actual the address for the actual video. Like this could be like a 10-cent video or some of their kind of platforms. Okay, I know this is not ideal, but it's, you know, for the purpose of this video, which is like kind of a brief introduction about how to use Xiumi. I hope this kind of helps. If I have more time, I probably will do something else and explaining some other topics. Or if you have any questions, or if I have said something that is wrong, please just include it on the, mention it on the comments, because and I will try to make an update of this of the use of this application. Or if there's any kind of issues that I haven't resolved, because this application is a bit like Microsoft Word, which is like so many things that you can do with it. I mean, it's an impressive app, like, and it's, you know, it's a way of working like online to make design, which is like you know, like really, I mean, what we've done here, it doesn't even scratch the surface of what you can do, but at least I get you a little bit with the basics. So thank you very much, and if you want to know about the next video, just please subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye.